Mrs Worsnop was impaled on the horns of a dilemma. Her phials of hate were overflowing, and now she had no choice but to drain the poison cup of misery to the dregs. And had she not prayed for him to go down in the world, to be not worth a farthing? All that effort wasted. Now Jack, that painful thorn in her side, had done just the reverse and was definitely not to be sneezed at. Oh, how she'd prefer never to hear that accursed name again. But at the same time, would she let him get away with it? Not the ghost of a chance she wouldn't. No, it'll be a bitter pill, but she must do a U-turn and dance the backstep for a while. But first she must have a seethe, and so she began, and we must be reminded of how fond she was of seething, and did it extremely well. In truth, no one could accuse Mrs Worsnop of not knowing how to seethe, for she was a very good seether, and when she seethed to the full. She could have given lessons in advanced seething, for she seethed well and simmered gloriously. And this time she, probably, had out-seethed all her previous seethings. Because, oh, how she seethed! Her seething had not yet attained the peak of perfection by lunchtime, when her husband came in. In reply to his greeting, she had produced a few grunts, but anything intelligible was not forthcoming. Of course, valuing peace and quiet, he was not going to overly exert himself by forcing a conversation. But all the same, it was rather disconcerting, for usually he was a good target for disgorging any bottled-up simmering. She was definitely off-colour. But Mr Worsnop did not know that this time he simply would not do. This time the object of her seething had been strictly predetermined, and it was not with him she had a crow to pluck. Mrs Worsnop was still seething 1.5 hours later. In fact, by then her seething was approaching its most seethiest ferment, and so replete it was that if Mary had not shown up then, Mrs Worsnop would have been in danger of spontaneous combustion or imploding, or experiencing something equally gruesome. It can be safely said that never before in her life had she seethed so hard and with such an unbending devotion, and it was lucky for her that at that moment her daughter had walked in through the door and her tightly compressed seething had found an appropriate outlet. Thus, finally liberated from its thickly set confines, the fully ripened seething had broiled out of, by that time, puce-coloured Mrs Worsnop,